Hi everyone, welcome to today's video where we'll be making this cinemagraph based on a image from Midjourney. We're going to be adding some life to the curtains and also using Pika AI we will be adding some life. With all that said, let's get into it. Alright, here we are. I created a new project in After Effects. Let's import our image by double clicking here. Let's find our image and this one. Good. Let's take this image and drop it into new composition icon. So now we have the full composition. Let's make sure it's 10 seconds, the composition. Let's rename this so we can find it. Let's call it animation. Let's put it into a folder, comps, or final, like this. Let's create another folder called assets, just in case. Now that we're here, let's start by adding some movement to the curtains. So go into your effects and presets. If you cannot see it, just scroll this up. Search for curtain. There we are. Gonna use this one, but first let's create a layer, new, solid. Let's call this curtain. Can be white, it's fine. Let's drag this effect to it. Now we have something that looks like this. Let's go back to the start. Let's disable this, or the visibility of it. Let's grab some colors from the original image. Let's take this light. Should be here. Let's find a mid-tone. Something like this. And then let's do darker shadows. There we go. Put this on again. This. Good. So the next issue is if you twirl this down or press U to reveal the keyframes, you can see that it stops after 5 seconds. That's not what we want. So let's take this, drag it all the way to the end, like so. But as you can see now, it doesn't loop. Let's solve that by going into fractal noise on the curtain. Click on evolution options and just click on this cycle evolution. And now it should loop perfectly. Good. Now let's click on the layer, right click, pre-compose, move all attributes into a new composition. Let's call it curtain DC, pre-comp. While we're here, let's create a folder for comps. So there's gonna be a few, I think. Let's move it from final into, let's set the mode to overlay. You can sort of see what effect we're going for, right? Let's start by adding the effect to the left side of the image. Just click and drag. Rotate it. I'm using the keyboard shortcuts V and W. W to rotate it and V to use the selection tool. And kind of like here. So now we have placed the curtain effect. So let's create a mask for this. Let's hide the curtain layer and let's go and draw a mask around the curtains. You can be as precise as you want. I'm just doing this quickly. Of course, the more time you'll spend on it, the better it will be. That's the left side. Let's do the right side. Good. So now we have a mask. It looks like this. Let's add the curtain back in. Scoot it over a bit so it doesn't go into the other one, like so. Let's duplicate this, edit, duplicate, move it over, turn it, move it over again, like so. Let's call this one curtain right. Good. Let's put the track matte on the mask layer. Let's see if we can do the same with this one. So now we have two curtains moving. Let's highlight both of these, or select both of these, press T, set the opacity to 50%. There we go. And now while we're here, let's add some Gaussian blur to the mask so it doesn't look so sharp. Let's say 50. Let's distort this one a bit so it follows the curtain. Let's add warp, mesh warp on this. Let's say 3 and 3. Just to make it easier to work with. Let's grab this one, pull it out a bit. A lot better. Let's do the same for the other one. Mesh warp, drag it down here. Let's do 3 and 3. So now we have the basic animation done. We could settle for this, but let's try and see if we can add some movement to her somehow by using an AI called Pika. So let's do that now. Let's go into Discord. So I'm in the Pika server. I will go into generate. Let's start by type create. Let's click on this. Let's say hair moving. It's always a golden one. And click on the one more and press image. Attach our image, which is this one, V2, and let's see what happens when we do this. So now we wait. While we're waiting, let's go up here and see. Oh, it's already done. Perfect. And it's got some nice hair movement. It's perfect. Let's download it. Let's bring in the animation from Pika. Let's have it here. Let's call it Pika. If we can find it. Let's put it into the composition. There we go. Let's make sure it fills the entire screen by holding Alt, Control and Shift, pressing H. Let's right click, recompose. Pika PC. Let's make sure it's in the right one. Let's put some house cleaning here. Let's go into it again. Let's go to the middle of the composition around here. Select the layer, press split layer, grab this one, and while we're here in the middle, let's hold Control and press the arrow key to the left to go one frame back. Let's use this one. Now let's take the top layer, press T, opacity, pull all the way in the front, press type 0, and pull all the way to the end. So now you have a loop that goes like this. Right click, trim count to work area. Now let's go back to the animation itself. Now while we're here, let's right click, time, enable time remapping. Let's go to the end by pressing K to the next keyframe. Let's make sure it's even frames. Let's go one frame back, so it's 15 instead of 16, just to make sure that it loops properly. So now we have an animation that stops after 1 second. Holding Alt and clicking on it, type loop out, like so. And now it should loop. That looks a bit strange because, well, The loop is a bit strange and fast as well. So let's check this frame and just drag it. Take the end frame, deselect and select again. Now we have a little more subtle movement, right? Good, so let's zoom in. Let's draw a mask around her face. Or where we want the effect to happen, like this. Let's feather it out, pressing F. Say 20. Let's see how that looks. Zoom out. It looks okay, it's a bit dark, so let's add some curves. Let's lighten it a bit. Just a tad, like this. I do not really like this back end of it, so let's see if we can do something about that. Just keep the front side. And just let's lower the opacity a bit so it's not so visible. Let's say if it's just to sell the effect a bit. Let's put it back to 75. Let's hide the bounding boxes so we can better see it. So here we are. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.